We are in the middle of what he calls the Psichas HaSefer. We spoke already two Yesaidos, how we could take this and make it practical, how we could take these lofty ideals, these incredible concepts, that on Shabbos there's a reality that Hashem is more revealed, that the Teva is not as heavy, not as dark, and how we could practically connect to this idea. And we spoke about the two first Yesodis that we spoke about is number one, that we're looking for the Shechina. We read in the footnote the incredible idea of talking to Hashem at a constant basis, making Hashem a part of our life. We spoke about that if it's a matana, a gift, you have to value the gift. And the more you value the gift, the more that the person wants to give you the gift. And then we spoke number two is to practically to prepare for Shabbos. And within the preparations, he gave us multiple ideas. Number one is practical Shabbos preparations, food, cleaning, etc. Number two is to learn the Torah of Shabbos, which is what we're doing together. Number three is to try to delve deep into the aura of Shabbos, the light of Shabbos, to think about it, to daven for it. Maybe that was a critical detail. But yes, we could daven for this connection. And number four is the whole week to be busy with the light of Shabbos, which Baruch Hashem or Zeicha, to sit here on a Tuesday night, on a Yom Revi'i, talking about Shabbos as we say L'chuna Ranana, and the new week begins. And with that, we go up to the third and final Yesod. Says the Biyam Darkecha Lehit Kadesh. Vayesod Ashlishi, and the third foundation, Te'lischais L'Kedusha V'ara Shabbosu, to be Zeicha, to merit, to the Kedusha, to the sanctity and the light of Shabbos, is Lehiskadish, to sanctify it. He explains, even though, what's the main thing? Asay toiv, do good. Dahainu, what does it mean, asay toiv? Litzapois, to yearn, ulachakois, and to wait, uletzchoinin l'Shabbos, and to prepare for Shabbos. So, of course, step one is what we've been talking about, is to start looking at the distance. Shabbos is coming. We want to hope, we want to yearn for Shabbos, we want to prepare for Shabbos. But then, and to take that light of Shabbos and to put it into the weekday. This maybe is a little bit more difficult. We also need tzur meira. We got to turn away from the bad. Everything we've been speaking about has been in the proactive, in the active preparation. Now he explains there's also what we would call the passive preparation, staying away from the negative, the evil. But tzur meira, you have to sanctify yourself, not take and cut yourself off from all the coverings, from all the desires. Ki, why? It's an equation, it's a balance. As much as you're covered over by the darkness, as much as you're living within the physicalities, as much as you're delving and unfortunately being consumed by the earthly, worldly, dark existence around us, Nishmasa, your soul, your soul cannot taste, cannot feel that spiritual light. And therefore, Tzavasa Yitanu Atayra, this Torah commands us, Kedoshim, to you to be holy. Kirak al Yidei Darkecha Kedusha, because only through the paths of holiness, Yachla Adam le'or be'orach chayim, is one able to live in the light of life. V'nishmasai, and his soul matzlicha, successful, lahargish, to feel, to taste, this tainug emes, this true pleasure, shalar Hashem Yisbarach. Ukefia precious me'atoma me'agashmias, as much as you separate, kachazachia b'ruchanias, that's as much as you'll merit in the spirituality. There's no possibility lahasig madriga v'hasoga amitis, to get any level in truth, belila his dachich, without purifying the lotis mehara. So, in as much as this sounds very heavy, it's also very gratifying. Because that means if you take one step away from Ra, 1 ounce less of Gashmias, 1 dot less of darkness, the teeniest dot, that allows there to be a hole, an opening for the Kedusha to fill in. That allows for the neshama to finally taste. And as we always remind ourselves, you might say, oh, washkayach. So my neshama has 1 dot. What's 1 dot? Well, 1 dot of infinity. 1 dot of the holiest of holy. 1 dot of Shabbos. 1 dot of the mikar of everything. Could there be anything greater? Each according to his level. As much as you want to get, as high as you want to be, as deep as you want to get. You got to get cleaner and cleaner. To go farther from the bad, from the physicalities. This is not just about Shabbos. In all of our avodah and all of our coming closer to God, the main, the ikr, the very deep foundational piece is sherak al yidei she'adam is soiger es atzmai mitayvos ha'olam hazeh. You have to close yourself from the pleasures of this world. Ulefi madrigasayu, and according to that level, mitgaber or mitkadesh, you get stronger and get holier. Kach, that's the amount. Huzeichli is roi. Likabel aruch aniyumimila. We want to know, how can we feel Shabbos? How can we get to this place of spirituality? How can we finally taste what it's supposed to be? Vezamitos and the truth of Yichud Hashem, the oneness of God, this lofty, incredible level. How do we get even anywhere near there? Sarich, it's necessary. Lefi madrigasa, each on their level. Lifroish me'at, to separate a little bit. Me'ataivas, from the pleasures. Uliskadish, and to sanctify yourself. Me'at yoser, a drop more. V'yit'amitz al kach, and you should be strong on this. Ki efshir lahasig, it's impossible to reach. B'li amol v'yagia, without hard work. V'yitgabros, and being strong over all this. And at the bottom, in Ois Chav Zayin, he points out what we said. As much as you sanctify yourself and you connect yourself to the Shekhinah and you don't get drawn after the negative. And of course, what does the Yetzer Hara try to do? All it tries to do is to suck us in deeper and deeper and deeper. And now B'Sikom, he points out. What have we learned? We've learned incredible practical steps. It's incredible to even say the word practical when we talk about such lofty goals. The two almost don't even, our mind blows from them, but we're starting to realize how it's true. Hadarachem ayikarim, the main ways. Lizchais to merit al yadam lekabel ar Shabbos, lekabel ar Shabbos. Do we ever fathom we could be simple humans to accept this thing, this entity, this concept called the light of Shabbos? Do we ever fathom we could? And the answer is 100%. And we could boil it down to the smallest of small, the teeniest of pieces. Again, number one, the ratzos, we have to desire. And we have to pine and yearn. Lar Hashem Yisbarach. We have to want this light of God. And to search as a kesher. We have to look for the connection. We have to look for Hashem. We want to have a sheikh as a connection to him. And specifically the light of Shabbos. Number two, we have to prepare. With actions. With learning. With thought. With feeling. And to deal b'meshach kol hashavua bar Shabbos, the light of Shabbos. B'nefesh ruach neshama shel Shabbos, to deal with the soul of Shabbos. V'lachyos is emes shel Shabbos, and to live the Shabbos. B'poyel, practically. B'toichin yani chayim, within the physicalities of life. B'meshach kol hashavua. And I'm sure we've all had Shabbosim in which, whatever the reason was, we had to deal with it the whole week. And the whole week, there were different details and different, steps that had to be taken, and then you finally come to Shabbos. You might be exhausted, you might be worn out, but there's almost this otherworldly feeling that grabs you, and you might wonder, where did that come from? I'm so exhausted. I was running around like a mishugano. That's what we're talking about, because you put so much into the achana. And maybe what we're injecting through this limud is now that we realize that it's not just in the practical achana, but there's the depth, there's the desire, there's the talking to Hashem, there's the wanting to come close to Him, there's the realization how there's this most incredible entity out there. We have to think about that for a few moments. This matana toiva, what's in God's, the Creator, the Almighty, what's in His treasure house. What is it? What's that diamond? What's that most precious thing? It's Shabbos. So of course we want it. We just have to think about it and realize how much we want it. How much we want it for ourselves. We want it for our families. We want it for our kids. Maybe we'll add on, as difficult as we know that many people struggle with Shabbos, perhaps, just perhaps, if one were to connect to Shabbos on the smallest of levels, that glow, that excitement, that pleasure, we're talking about physical, visceral, fleshing pleasure, like we say, that, what kid wouldn't want that? What kid wouldn't come home and see his father singing a Shalom Aleichem and he's going to want to throw that away for what? For what? Because he's going to want to watch a movie for a few minutes. The movie's geschmack, but we're singing, we're dancing, we have food, we're alive. There's nothing greater than that. And number three, we're learning today, Lit Kadesh, to sanctify ourselves. We have to work throughout the week to find ways, everyone on their levels. It could be 1 minute. It could be a moment. It could be an hour, each on their level. Lit Amit requires hard work. Lit Gaber, to be strong. Lisrachek me'at yoiser megashmis. And let's listen to those words. He didn't say mehaveros. Very important. Mehagashmias. This means it could be mutter. It could be perfect. It could be fine. It could be kosher. But it's gashmias. We have to start living a little bit more spiritual lives. Maybe it means 1 less minute of pleasure, 1 more minute of Torah. Whoa. You just blew your neshama away. You just ripped open the neshama. Then instead of filling it with gashmis, filling it with things that we enjoy, we paused and we said, you know what? I realize this isn't true. Avada, I'm holding at a level that I need gashmis. I'm holding at a level that I enjoy the physicalities, but I know that there's something greater. And I know that I'm driving to this place called Shabbos Kodesh, so maybe I'm going to take 1 minute and I'm going to 1 minute less of whatever I'm doing. Mutter, not Avira. I'm not talking about anything extreme. 1 minute less. And 1 more minute of kapitel till him. One shir amalis. You know what that shir amalis does? You just took away gashmias and you filled it with ruchnias. The Elias kli, we become a vessel. Royal kedusha Hashem yisbarach elim yisaydes einyanim v'arachnu bezes Hashem b'shalom zinav zerach egash leklom b'shar beis. I want to just start, just to go into, just to see where we're going. So now we got through the introductions, plurals. Now he goes, the Shara Rishon, what's the first gate? Sidurei Shel Shabbos, the order of Shabbos. Uba Yispar B'Siyata D'Shmaya, we're going to explain. Hakavanais, the thoughts. Vargoshes, the feelings. Lemaisa, practically. Lefi Sidron, Matchalas HaChana B'Moitzoi Shabbos. Now this is where like you have to start thinking. What's it Shabbos? What do you mean? Friday night Kiddush? No, because as we've been learning, when does Shabbos begin? We're sitting here on a Tuesday night. No, let's go back. Let's go back to Motzai Shabbos Kodesh. Let's go back to Havdalah. And as we're going to start our week, we're going to start it with a thought, with an injection of what's to come. So he starts over here. I'm just going to read the introduction page over here. He says, Motzai Shabbos. On Oiskin B'Kinias Ora Shabbos. On Motzei Shabbos, we deal with the acquiring the light of Shabbos. And entering into it. Kedei, so that this is where you start to realize that maybe how far we are from spirituality, and maybe there's some simple steps that we could take. Because of course, you walk into a Shabbos, you didn't prepare for Shabbos, you didn't do nothing, and you make Kiddush, and you wonder what's going on. But I kept Shabbos. It's kavaldik, and we're not belittling that. We spoke about it many times. And now we're talking about Achanas, and now he's going, let's go even further back, all the way to Motzei Shabbos. Because if we start there, then you can have a whole week of Shabbos to get to Shabbos. We're preparing ourselves la'ar Shabbos haba. We get this acquisition. With this Shabbos haba. Ta'ir, you know how it's going to illuminate. B'madriga gavoya b'yoser, how high and lofty it's going to be. B'yeser chayzek, with more strength. B'yeser penimius, and more depth. Litzkari v'lavinu shebashamayim b'yeser seis. Yudi tamid oila, yid always goes up. V'hoylech mechaya lachaya, level to level. Miyad b'motzei Shabbos. Hu ma'amidis atzmo kechayel neman lavoida chadash. Like a new warrior, you're going out to the work week. So let's go and start that work week as a good soldier in battle. And let's just begin just to get a little taste of where we're going to start from and where we're going to go to. Motzei Shabbos utzilas avodah. Kasher Rabbeinu Chaim Vital, the Heilige Ramchal. Excuse me, not the Ramchal. The Heilige Rab Chaim Vital. Matchel es devarav el Shabbos kodesh b'sifra shar kavanos umatchel benoisei. You know how he begins. Maya avodah shel Motzei Shabbos. What's Motzei Shabbos? V'umadgish v'oimer zokt Rab Chaim Vital. He makes a point and he says, "Sha'atam shu maschal davka b'noni Motzei Shabbos." Who you know why? Ki miyad b'Motzei Shabbos kvar matchilim sheishes miachol. The work week is beginning. Ukvar matchila avodas hachana l'Shabbos avo. We're already beginning the next week. Ubezen, with this, and just this thought blows our mind. Upoiseach lanu, it opens up of histaklut chadasha, a totally new outlook. I think any person that opened up this sefer and they just started flipping through, like, wait, did you make a mistake? Let's say Shabbos. Wait, did I open it for the wrong side? What's going on over here? Zok Daily, I'm Darkecha, Rav Chaim Vital is giving us histaklut chadasha, a totally new outlook. Ala avoida of our gosha b'motzei Shabbos. For Amerlani is saying to us, Al titaklu al b'motzei Shabbos rakisiyum v'shirayim shel Shabbos. Don't say, what's Motzei Shabbos? Just Shabbos is ending, some fragments, some remnants. V'al tistaklu al hilchos shel Motzei Shabbos. Rakipios. It's like a little, okay, a little, extra. Listaklos are Shabbos. No. Elo tistaklu al Motzei Shabbos. Begin it right. Titchilo avoida chadasha shel shvua chadash, like the new week. V'tavinu shekvar nachshav matchila achana l'Shabbos haba. And you're beginning the next week Shabbos. Okay, we'll pick up from here. Let's just before we end, let's try for 1 minute. 1 minute, it's 17 minutes in. We have a minute to 3. Let's just try to wrap up where we're holding. Because in order to really begin the Avodah, what's so critically important is to realize that these ideas, and these concepts are actually starting to make sense to us. For those of us that have been learning week in and week out, I think we're starting to take these most incredible, lofty ideas. These ideas like a light of Shabbos. These ideas like we could actually connect and feel Shabbos. Things that were foreign, that were Chinese, that were words that we thought of holy and great tzaddikim. And we're starting to realize that, hey, this could be palatable for me and you and every Joe on the street. And the reason is because we're breaking it down to the fundamentals. And we're understanding, let's start again one more time. The Aleph is to realize that we live in a world that everything is fake. It looks like we give the same examples as always, that the trees are growing and the grass is growing, and the doctors are healing and the shadchanim are making shidduchim, and our businesses are making us money, and our physical work is getting us through, and our minds are making us successful. And that could be nothing farther from the truth. Of course, that's the vehicle. Of course, that's what we have to do in our ishtadlus. But what makes it all work, of course, it's like a Baruch Hu, there's nothing beside God that makes it happen. And it's Shabbos Kodesh, it's that moment of Kiddush, that moment of Lech benching. It's that moment that Hashem gives a little bit of light into this dark world. He pulls back those covers and he allows us to see. Don't be fooled. Don't think that it happens on its own. Don't think it's you. Don't think it's nature. But no, it's me, Hashem Yisbarach. It's me, God. And that's a mitzias. That's a reality. That on every Shabbos, there's this matana tov, this incredible gift. That what is this incredible gift? It's this realization. It's this insight. It's this ability to be able to see what's happening. And then we began in the practical steps of how to get there. We have to start looking for Hashem. And even before looking for Him, one step before that, wanting to look for Hashem. And I think the more we talk about it, the more we think about it, we have to start realizing that, hey, maybe this is something that sounded Chinese to me and something that I never understood. But hey, yeah, you know what? I want it. I do want. What could be better? That you could be in the depth of the darkness. You could be in your worst place and you could feel like God's holding your hand. What could be better than that? What could be better? You could be facing the most monumental decision of your life and you could be sitting there calm. How is it possible? Well, why not? Because Hashem's right there with me. But how do I get to that place? That's such a high and lofty level. Well, don't wait. Don't wait to that dark place. Don't wait to the crisis. In a good time, in a happy time, start talking to Hashem. Start bringing him part of your life. Start realizing that, yes, Hashem is there with you. Talk to him. He's a reality. God is right there with you. And once you start talking to him, you inculcate Hashem actually in your life. Then you start preparing for Shabbos the whole week. Shabbos preparations in thought, in action, in learning the Torah like we're doing. And then finally, let's start trying. And that was this week's Chiddush, removing a little bit of Gashmis from our life. A little bit. No one goes crazy. The moment you go crazy, you lose the whole thing. Oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. No, 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 no. One ma'at. One little bit. And that little bit that you remove, you created a vehicle. You created a place for God, for the or, for the light to go in. And when you combine these three things, then all of a sudden we're going to come to Shabbos, a totally different entity. And now we're starting to learn when to begin. We thought we were smart. Oh, we have Tuesday night. No, Motzei Shabbos. When you say that Havdalah and you say goodbye to Shabbos, and hopefully in Tzadikim, they go and they right away light two candles on the table for the coming week. Rav Chaim Kanievsky right away threw out the tablecloth, Mlava Malka, right then. It's not just a mitzvah, Mlava Malka. No, you're welcoming the new week. You're going into the new week. You're a soldier. You're fighting Zok Chaim Vital. You know what you're doing? You're starting to prepare. You ask someone, what did he do Motzei Shabbos? Well, which pizza did he go to? Which store? You know you did? Yeah, you had pizza. You had Mlava Malka. You know you did. You prepared for next Shabbos. You got to be kidding me. Yes. Because Shabbos is becoming part of our vernacular. It's going to be part of our life. It's going to be part of what we want. It's going to be part of our relationship. And hopefully, the more we think, the more we talk, the more we desire, the more we plan, the more we pine, the more that hopefully B'siyat Nishmaya will start feeling it. And when we start feeling it, we start feeling it in the smallest of little bits. We're just going to want to do more and more and more in Mirza Hashem.